Man, what a busy weekend it was for me, and I'm actually glad that the weekend is finally over. I like being busy, but I also like being grounded as well because I always stick to a strict schedule when it comes to my content, man. And when I feel something is kind of off, I get thrown off and I feel off. So not having an off the script on Saturday and instead having to watch a fucking glorified house show on Saturday kind of threw me off, man. And then I went to Comic-Con on Thursday. I had to do House of Glory on Friday. You know, I had a hangout with my best friend, and we watched Conor McGregor and Khabib yesterday, which was nice. We actually sat down and drank Conor McGregor's whiskey. So that was pretty good. I mean, it's nothing special. The whiskey isn't anything special, but, you know, it is what it is. So we sat down, we chilled, we watched that. I'll give you my my brief thoughts on all that in a little bit, but it's been a busy week, man. And normally when I come on here to talk about, you know, the opening of Off the Script, I usually take a big headline for the day and I talk about it, and then we get into the news and rumors. I'm not even going to do that, man. I'm just shooting straight from the hip today. We're going to do things a little bit differently because there really isn't any major news stories this weekend. It's all about Super Showdown and what happened at Super Showdown. So I got some Super Showdown news and rumors and some exclusives to come out of that. So we'll talk about all that. I got some news on the ridiculous rumor of The Rock taking big Saudi money to be the WWE champion or win the WWE championship in Saudi Arabia next year in 2019. Rumor killer on that. I got some big NXT news. Apparently, WWE management wants to change the way we see NXT. Don't know what the fuck that means. We'll talk about it. Plus, major details on WWE going in a different direction for the Survivor Series, man, which, you know, I don't know why they have to go in a different direction when they had something pretty consistent with the last couple of years, you know, pertaining to the draft, and now they're not going to adhere by those draft rules. And they are just shitting all over the draft and the brand split and whatever else they did with this fucking brand split, man. Nobody gives a shit about it. They're killing the credibility of the draft and the brand split. They're going in a different direction. We'll talk about that today on Off the Script, man. I don't even know where I want to begin. Like I said, it was a busy weekend. I went to Comic-Con on Thursday, and it was my first New York City Comic-Con. I hate large crowds. I fucking hate large crowds. So I knew going into this thing I was going to be overwhelmed just by large crowds. I don't go to movies when a huge premiere comes out. I don't like sitting in a theater full of people. I don't like being in and around large groups of people. So being at the Comic-Con, I knew what to expect. And of course, I was feeling overwhelmed. I was fatigued. I was tired. Frustrated with the amount of lines and lines and lines, never-ending lines. I wanted to visit the Funko boutique that was set up in a terrible position and a terrible spot at the Comic-Con, I have to say. You know, Funko, I don't think they realize how big they are. And they got this little boutique right on the main stage. Funko should have a whole fucking section or a whole floor to themselves, to be quite honest with you. So I couldn't even get in there to see if they had any Comic-Con exclusives at all. The line was ridiculous. Every time I walked by it, couldn't get into it. Couldn't even see the list of exclusives that they had this year. It was just incredibly frustrating. The lines to play Kingdom Hearts 3. The lines to play Resident Evil 2 Remake. The lines to play Devil May Cry. All ridiculous, dude. I waited on some of those lines and I gave up because I couldn't wait and sit there just to fucking play a game for like 5-10 minutes that I'm eventually going to buy anyway. I know I'm going to buy all 3 of those games, so it would have been a waste of my time. But I had a very good time. I met a few people there who recognized me from what I do here. I bought some artwork for myself. I bought myself some t-shirts. And I really wanted to go the rest of the weekend, but I just couldn't. I was just so incredibly busy all weekend, and I wanted to check out some of the panels on Friday and Saturday. So hopefully I could do it again next year, and hopefully I'm fortunate enough to have grown even more here on the channel, and they graciously give me a press badge again this year, and maybe I can make the most of it next year. So we'll see what happens, but I think my favorite part of the entire thing, man, I love when I find new talented people that I know for a fact by just looking at them and looking at their work that they are so in love with what they're doing. And I think my favorite part of all of Thursday was finding out CJ Drayden. And this is a shameless plug for him, man, because I looked at all the work that he had there on the floor. He had a nice little setup for himself. This guy is fucking talented, man. And he paints everything on glass. And he had some beautiful video game inspired artwork that I really, if I had the money, man, I would have walked out with half of the fucking shit that he had. He had some Final Fantasy stuff on Sephiroth and Cloud, and I love Sephiroth, as you guys can see if you're watching on YouTube. You know, right there, my flag, I've had that forever. You know, I love Castlevania. Castlevania is one of my favorite franchises ever. He had this beautiful Castlevania 1 artwork that was very reminiscent of the old cover for the old NES game, the first ever Castlevania with Belmont and the castle and Dracula in the night sky. It was absolutely fucking beautiful, man. It was a tripled layer painting on glass. And he had Metroid-related stuff. He had Metal Gear Solid-related stuff. He had so much great shit. And I ended up walking out with a glass painting of Sephiroth. And I hung it in my bedroom because I want to make my bedroom Braves and video game-related stuff. So, you know, right above where my bed is, I'm going to get a painting of Sephiroth in the night sky for Final Fantasy VII. And on both sides of my bed where the dresser drawers are, or the nightstands, rather, we're going to get Sephiroth on one side and then Cloud on the other. So that's my vision there. And this guy does a lot of shit, man. Check him out. CJ Drayden. And you could buy his artwork online. You could even request him to personally paint you something. You think of it, you give him an idea of what you want, and he'll do it for you. So I'm going to definitely check this guy out. And he was my best find at Comic-Con this year. So we'll see what happens, man. Hopefully I get to go again next year. But I did have a good time. And like I said, I wanted to go all 4 days. But I really could not, and I did not have the time. Friday, we had House of Glory on Friday at the NYC Arena, Club Amazura. We presented Extreme Warfare, man. It was so fucking fun. I love my job so much. I love seeing the hardworking men and women of House of Glory just, you know, go to work, man. It was a crazy night. It was an unpredictable night. Bully Ray and Sami Callihan just killed it. They absolutely killed it, man. And it was such a great moment after the match. It really was. It was just great storytelling. And it's one of those things where, you know, sometimes I don't realize that I'm actually doing play-by-play commentary. You know, sometimes I'm just so lost in the moment that I realize I'm doing commentary, but I'm, you know, it's just so involved in what's going on, and my fandom just comes out. So it's great. We had a great time with that. PCO looks phenomenal, man. The guy's fucking huge. You know, what a career resurgence that he's had in 2018. He did a moonsault on Anthony Gangone. Gangone was at least halfway across the ring. He nailed, PCO did, a fucking moonsault halfway across the ring. Picture perfect on Gangone. Unbelievable stuff, man. We had a Battle Royal. We had a women's title match that main evented with Kimberly and Sonya Strong. It was a really, really fun night. They got big plans for December. It's going to be our anniversary show, our 8th year anniversary show. It's going to be fucking great. And as soon as I hear any word on what they got planned, House of Glory not only has big plans for December, but they got major plans for January, February, and WrestleMania season, man. So we're doing big things, and I will definitely keep you guys posted on what is going on House of Glory-wise, but you guys should start seeing the content filter out from our event on Friday to their YouTube channel, so make sure you guys are subscribed. As for me, Cutting Corners is going to get right back into the full swing of things, man. We're going to start Season 2. We already did, 4 episodes, and we are going to tackle more of the House of Glory talent. I'm looking to get some of the bigger name tag teams on there. I'm looking to get Gangone on there. I might even get Amazing Red on there. It's going to be good, man. So all that stuff is coming. House of Glory is doing big things. So look forward to that. Saturday, I was grounded at home, and I had a little hangout with my best friend, and we watched the McGregor-Khabib match and the UFC 229 pay-per-view. Had a good time. We drank his liquor. He was gracious enough to get us a bottle of McGregor's liquor, or whiskey. It wasn't all that special, to be honest with you. It was smooth, and I'm not a big whiskey guy anyway, but it was good, and it did its job. I felt very relaxed watching the show. We had a very good time. We had pizza, and we just chilled. My favorite part of 229 was the Black Beast. The Black Beast, Derek Lewis, man. Oh, my goodness. He knocked fucking Volkov out cold. That was my favorite moment of the entire show, man. Him knocking him out in the last round with 11 seconds to go. And you got to keep, he told me all night, you got to keep an eye on the Black Beast. You know? So that was easily my favorite moment of the entire night. I'm not a big McGregor guy. You know, I don't get the appeal of McGregor. I know a lot of you guys are McGregor guys. I'm not a big McGregor guy. You know, I didn't really care who won this match. I just wanted to just chill. But, you know, you MMA, UFC guys, man, you always get so salty. You know, it's like, I'm never posting a tweet about UFC ever again on Twitter. Never. You get the most sickening fucking comments because you always get the comments, oh, stay in your lane. Oh, don't talk about something you don't know. So, pretty much you're telling everybody who trolls me or everybody in the wrestling community on YouTube and on Twitter, you know, they don't know shit, so don't talk about it. Pretty much. All these casuals, right? They think they know. You don't know anything, so stop talking about it. That's pretty much what you're telling me. So I can't talk about UFC because I don't know about UFC. That's a ridiculous fucking statement. I made a comment about the aftermath of the McGregor fight being rigged and storyline, and people were jumping down my throat. Why is that so far-fetched? Why is McGregor and what happened with both camps at the end of that match so far-fetched not to be rigged? Like, I don't understand you people. It was rigged. It was a setup. It was a storyline. Okay? McGregor lost. Fine. McGregor lost. He had a big layoff. He came back against a fucking beast in Khabib, right? And there's no shame in him losing. He does talk a lot of fucking shit, and if you talk that much shit, you should be able to back it up. That's what I don't like. That's why he should be fucking quiet from now on. He could still be his animated self, but he should not be saying all this shit and then going in there and losing. You know, if he talked all this shit, then, you know, what should have happened was a first-round knockout. But that didn't happen. He got beasted. So, this was all set up, and people were jumping down my throats. Oh, this isn't WWE. What are you fucking talking about? Dana White and UFC are in the same boat as Vince McMahon and WWE. It's entertainment. There's a level of entertainment, and there's a level of, I'd say, you know, anticipation. They need to build anticipation for what is to come. The only reason why that happened last night was because, you know, McGregor didn't lose any momentum. McGregor didn't lose any momentum at all losing this match. He's still going to come out and do what he has to do. And the amount of money he made last night, who the fuck gives a shit if he lost or not? He don't give a fuck if he lost. Guy easily made $200 million for that match. So what difference is it to him that he lost? And all that fucking theatric shit that happened at the end of the match, which was a WWE scripted scenario, is all leading to a possible rematch. So, for the people who want to talk shit, they did it because they need to sell the rematch. And if you don't think the rematch is happening eventually, next year, again, then you're a fool. You're a fool. Because McGregor is their biggest draw. And if they have something there with what's already been done, they're going to build upon that, and they're going to get us to 2019, where we'll see a probable rematch. And maybe McGregor wins. You know, it's a storyline. I didn't sit here and say the match was rigged, though I do think most professional sports, you know, every now and then are rigged. It's not out of the realm of possibility with that either. But everybody wanted to jump down my throat. Stay in your lane. Let me enjoy the fucking shit and let me get my fucking thoughts out there because it looked like a scripted fucking bullshit scenario. Just like when Brock Lesnar confronted Daniel Cormier. That was legit? Or was that scripted? Or was that a WWE-like production? Yes, it was. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for UFC to be doing WWE-themed storylines here. They're all one and the same. It's entertainment. You bought into it, we're going to get a rematch. Simple as that. But I did enjoy the overall card. Like I said, the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, was my favorite of the entire night. And that Anthony Pettis match, I thought was real good too. That was a real good match as well. But those are my quick thoughts on UFC 229. Other than that, man, that was my weekend. I feel like when I don't get an off the script up, we have a little issue. You know, I feel off. I feel like there's some type of, imbalance. I like to stick to a consistent basis. Scheduling and consistency is important here on YouTube. And with this Super Showdown last night, or yesterday morning rather, which I'm still recovering from, just kind of threw everything off. So what we did was part 1 on Friday, previewing predictions. Then we did Super Showdown on Saturday. And here we are with part 2 on Sunday. So I got a busy week ahead of me again next week because I want to get all the news and rumors out here for the week. We'll do part 2 today, part 3 on Monday. I got WWE 2K19 already loaded up on my PS4. We'll do that. We'll start career mode. I'll start getting those videos out. I want to finish Spider-Man. Black Ops 4 is coming out on Friday. Big week here again, man. It's never ending. It's never ending. On top of fall being, my favorite time for a lot of things. You got the weather change. It's nice and cool. You don't need the air conditioner anymore. It's still no jacket weather, but it's absolutely fucking gorgeous. Beautiful sleeping weather. The best season to drink fine beer. And this is when the video game season starts to really amp up, man. So a lot of stuff is going on. Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, and the Super Showdown stuff, as well as off the script, all live on the channel right now. You're going to go to the annotation in the top right corner. You're going to click that little exclamation point, and you're going to go to all those videos if you did indeed miss anything this week, man. It's all there for you. Go and check it out. Super Showdown review is up to almost 50,000 views. You guys hit 3,000 likes in less than 24 hours, man. That is absolutely fucking savage. Savage. So thank you guys so much for that. Speaking of Super Showdown, we're going to be going over some news and rumors here in a little bit. I am happy to announce that I have a new sponsor as well. For the next week, I believe next week, and through the entirety of the fall and winter months, up until December, Christmas season, we are welcoming back WWE Slam Crate. And that is a Loot Crate product. So Loot Crate will be sponsoring the show on top of Harry's, on top of Audible, and then Barbershop Window. Loot Crate is going to be joining us. So next week, you guys are going to get an exclusive 25% off code that if you guys want to check out WWE Loot Crate, man, you guys are going to save some big money. So I just want to get that out there. They are joining the team, and they're going to be the new sponsor on top of Harry's and Audible right here on Off the Script. Speaking of my sponsors, man, please show them some love. Harry's, you guys know the deal with Harry's, man. Harry's is the best shave of your life. Guaranteed. Guaranteed, man. Every time I got to get ready for House of Glory show and I want to look good, I'm giving Harry's a call, bro. Bro, you ready? Let's do it. Harrys.com/script. They're going to give you a free trial shave set. They believe it will be the best shave of your life so much that they're going to give you a free trial shave set, and all you have to do is pay the shipping and handling, man. Harrys.com/script for your free trial. You're going to get a razor blade, a razor handle, a protective case, and the foaming shave gel, which soothes, hydrates, and it smells fucking fantastic, man. Harrys.com/script. And if you guys have already signed up, man, please give it as a gift. Seriously. It makes a great stocking stuffer for the holiday season coming up. Give it to your girlfriend's folks, your dad. Even the ladies can use it, man. This is not just a men's product. The ladies can use it as well. Believe me. It is the smoothest shave I've ever had. I've been using it for 6 months. I found out about it through my brother and my dad. Haven't used anything else, man. I guarantee you that whatever you're using now, if you're not using Harry's, is going to go right in the trash. And Harry's is going to be your number one, man. Harrys.com/script. Barbershopwindow.com/off-the-script for all your t-shirt needs, man. This is our official store. Barbershopwindow.com/off-the-script. 17 designs right there currently, and I must say they are the best designs in the podcasting community, bar none. So make sure you guys go and check that stuff out. If you need your t-shirts and you want to save some money, use the code BSHOP20. BSHOP20 on Barbershop Window at checkout to save 20% off all of your orders, man. And listen, I'm telling you right now, wait till you guys see this 100,000 subscriber t-shirt, man. It is absolutely a thing of beauty. We just hit 98,300 subscribers, man. I am releasing this shirt when we hit 99,000 subscribers. I want to get everybody wearing this thing as soon as we hit 100,000, man. So you guys got that to look forward to. The design is already done. It is absolutely a thing of beauty. I can't wait to show you guys. And it's going to be the biggest seller. Absolutely, no question. The biggest selling t-shirt that I release, period. It is that good. It is that beautiful. So barbershopwindow.com/off-the-script, man. Also, Audible. Audible has been a great friend of the show for over a year now. Audibletrial.com/off-the-script. You guys really killed it in September. Let's try and do the same thing with October. Audibletrial.com/off-the-script. You're going to get 30 days. That's 1 month free of their service. And that is going to include one free audiobook of your choice. You have over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are wrestling related. But whatever genre you want, man, it is there. Audibletrial.com/off-the-script. And if you feel Audible is not for you and you don't like their service, you can cancel within the 30-day free trial and you get to keep your audiobook no matter what, man. That is a great deal right there. And you're literally doing nothing and you're helping out the show at the same time. Audibletrial.com/off-the-script. And finally, guys, I want to thank all my Patreons, all my patrons. You guys are absolutely beast. I love each and every one of you, man. I want to shout out a few people here. Marco Collin, $5 pledge as of the 6th of October, man. Thank you so very much. Jamal Barnes pledged $5 on October 5th. Thank you so much, brother. River Jones pledged $5 on October 4th. Nick Hanna pledged $10 on October 4th. And Raymond Rodriguez pledged $5 on October 4th, man. Thank you guys so very much. Also, Joel W., 514 Trader, pledged $5 on October 4th. Bro with Glasses donated and pledged $10 on October 2nd, man. And thank you so very much to all you guys for helping out the podcast on Patreon. If you guys want to support Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. One more thing before we get into the news. Yo, JD, where's the news and rumors, man? There really is none. So I wanted to come on here and give you guys content, so you're going to have to listen to me speak. One more thing, man. I knew it. For all you Dodger fans out there, man, congratulations. You know, have a great time in the NLCS. The Brewers are going to be tough. I think the Brewers are going to beat the Rockies, even though the Rockies are not a slouch team in themselves. But I want to thank the Dodgers for making this quick and painless for me. That's all I will say. And the Braves, I knew they were going to get swept. The playoffs and the Braves do not go hand in hand at all. I knew they were going to get swept. This was a Paul Heyman prediction. This isn't a prediction. He says this is a spoiler. I spoiled it myself, man. I posted a day before the playoffs even started. Braves are going to get swept. Braves are going to get swept. And that was it. And we are on the verge of being swept tonight. And the reason why I think they got, the funny thing is, the thing with the Braves, I don't think they've won a game in like the last week and a half. They're on a big losing streak. And apparently their bats have just disappeared. But I think the reason why the Braves are down 0-2 already is simply because they lost home field advantage, because they suffered down the stretch. And Dansby Swanson is not in the lineup. He's out the entire division series. He may not even play again this year. Being that they're going to get eliminated tonight. And I honestly think if the Braves were in Atlanta to start this series instead of LA, I think that things would have been different. That's just me. But we'll see. Maybe they win tonight. I don't know. They got Sean Newcomb going. I love Sean Newcomb. But, the Dodgers pitching staff, What am I going to do, man? It's always been devastating, and the Dodgers were definitely one of the teams. This year, the Braves could not beat the Dodgers. They could not beat the Brewers. They could not beat the Rockies, and that was pretty much it. Those teams, they just suffered against all year, and it's continuing this year. So congratulations to the Dodgers, man, for sweeping the Braves, and good on you guys. And I hope that you have a competitive series with the Brewers, because I think that's what the NLCS is going to be. Simple as that. Moving on here, man. Let's get with the news. I'm going to start off with the Super Showdown stuff, because there is some news and notes coming out of Super Showdown. Did you guys notice at Super Showdown that the first few rows were plastic chairs? There were plastic chairs in the first couple of rows for the VIPs at Super Showdown. Now, normally when you go sit front row at these WWE shows, the first couple of rows, the first, I think, maybe 5 or 6 rows are all like commemorative chairs. WWE didn't have any commemorative chairs. And if you were wondering why you watched the show and seen plastic chairs, like lawn chairs, you know, obviously it was an outdoor arena, but they had literal lawn chairs, inexpensive plastic lawn chairs at Super Showdown. I got a reason for that. Super Showdown was a huge show in Melbourne, Australia for WWE, 70,000 fans. Some fans at home noticed that fans who bought premium seats had to sit through the event in cheap-looking plastic chairs. This was very obvious in the main event as The Undertaker and Triple H fought through the crowd. Now, one source who was there reported and sent this to the dirt sheets, said that not only were the chairs actually much more comfortable than they appeared, but there was a very good reason why there were no special event chairs, commemorative chairs. WWE had themed chairs made for Super Showdown, but the chairs were made in Singapore, and a typhoon. And I'm not talking about earthquake and typhoon of the natural disasters. A typhoon, a literal typhoon, delayed the chair's trip to Melbourne. Therefore, the plastic chairs were a last-minute choice. Specialty chairs will be sent to those who paid for them, and papers were handed out to fans in those premium floor seating, informing them of this delay. So if you guys seen that, I figured that would have been a cool way to just start off here, man. I noticed it. I not only noticed it when The Undertaker and Triple H were fighting in the crowd, but I noticed it when Roman Reigns speared Braun Strowman through the timekeepers area, through the barricade. So if you guys wanted to know why there were inexpensive lawn chairs or plastic chairs front row for the premium seating, there you go. A natural disaster has delayed the chairs from being shipped to Super Showdown. I found that to be quite interesting. There was a table spot during the Undertaker Triple H match at the end of the match, where Shawn Michaels was chokeslammed through a table by the Undertaker. Now, this spot was actually spoiled by WWE, and the fans in attendance were spoiled because they knew that something was coming. A table spot was coming. The WWE Super Showdown concluded with Shawn Michaels taking a table break spot at the end of the Undertaker Triple H match with a chokeslam. He sold the move well, but there is more to this than what you've seen on television. Now, sources who were in attendance at the event said that there was a lot of gimmicking involved to make sure the table broke and the spot worked. Therefore, some in attendance behind the commentator's booth saw this spot coming. Now, the sources said that people who sat second row noticed that Shawn Michaels didn't take much of a bump. A ring tech was out there 30 seconds before with a drill undoing the corner nuts from the table. Hence the clean break. Now, this was not recorded. I don't think anybody has visual evidence of this, but people in attendance did send this into the dirt sheets, and it was very blatant to the crowd sitting behind the commentary booth. Certainly looks like we are headed for more in-ring action from Shawn Michaels after what had happened at Super Showdown. He got very involved in many situations during that match. It's understandable that WWE wanted this spot to go off beautifully, but they apparently made it a little too obvious for the live crowd who was paying attention. I hate those tables. Quickly, just as a little side note, I hate those tables, man. Those commentary tables, when someone gets thrown through them, it's not the same. There's little to no impact. It doesn't even look good, in my honest opinion. You know, I don't think for all the time we've seen these new tables or these newer tables, these luxurious new commentary tables they got, every time someone goes through them, it doesn't look good at all. Unless you're falling from a fucking Hell in a Cell like Shane McMahon, or you're being tossed off a steel cage like Kevin Owens, then you could really get the impact of it exploding. But something like a choke slam or a power slam, a power bomb, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I miss the days of the old school tables. The old school wrestling tables covered in black cloth with the monitors and then just the guys sitting there with their notes and the headset. I remember vividly, I think it was at the 1996 King of the Ring. I do believe it was the 1996 King of the Ring, where The Undertaker and Mankind went one-on-one. One of my probably my favorite feud of all time. That and Bret, Steve Austin. Undertaker and Mankind went one-on-one in a regular match at the King of the Ring. And there was a spot where Mankind was shoved off the apron so forcefully by The Undertaker that he landed headfirst into the announce table. And it was those old school announce tables that were made of wood. He literally flew off the apron headfirst into the announce desk. And it was just unbelievable. It was fucking crazy. I miss those tables. These tables do nothing for me. And, I'm glad I didn't notice that at home. I would have been like, that's fucking lame. That is absolutely fucking lame. I know Shawn Michaels is old and they got to minimize the bump. And they got to make sure the table is going to break. I don't know, man. I just don't like those tables. But the table spot was ruined for fans in attendance. I figured I'd throw that into the little news and notes here I have on Super Showdown. The Miz and Daniel Bryan. One of the more disappointing aspects of Super Showdown. Why was this cut so short? Why did the match end in 3 minutes? Everybody's wondering. It's probably the biggest thing outside of Undertaker Triple H coming out of Super Showdown. Now, it was noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that Daniel Bryan was cleared. It has nothing to do with him being injured, okay? I want to throw that out there right now. It has nothing to do with him being injured. Therefore, if there was some awful lasting effect of what we've seen on SmackDown, he mistimed the headbutt. There was a mistime issue with him and Shelton Benjamin. Then Bryan simply wouldn't have been allowed to wrestle because he would not be medically cleared to compete. So it's not anything to do with his well-being. Bryan is still going through testing from what everybody says with WWE. That hasn't changed at all, and WWE wouldn't even allow him to work even in a 3-minute match if he was hurt. But he did get the roll-up victory on The Miz. Now, to discredit the theory that Bryan is injured even further, if he was in fact hurt again, WWE wouldn't have even booked him in a WWE Championship match in Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel. Dave Meltzer continued to discuss the reasoning why Bryan and Miz was so short, and while the reason isn't 100% clear at this point, it's obvious that it had nothing to do with Daniel Bryan not being cleared to compete. I don't know what the story is right now. Hopefully, I will find out, but also, it could be that the show was running late, and they weren't going to cut any time from Triple H and The Undertaker. The Super Showdown ended in over 30 minutes with Triple H and The Undertaker. That was the last thing we seen. And they had a very important angle that took place after the match. The entire stretch of intro and, what happened after the match, plus the post-match attack, it almost took the entire hour. It almost took the entire fourth hour. Now, therefore, WWE might not have wanted to trim anything else, so The Miz and Bryan unfortunately took the hit, and they were cut. But it's important to remember that it had nothing to do with Daniel Bryan being injured, so all of those reasons can be thrown right out the window. Bryan is fine. Bryan is fine. Now, it sucks that it had to be these guys, because this, realistically is the biggest fucking feud. I don't know. It's going to really be a subjective thing. I think it is. It's positioned above the WWE title, that's for sure. I enjoy Joe and Styles more, just by what we're seeing with Joe. But if you're wanting to go based on importance, I think The Miz and Bryan is more important than whatever's going on with Joe and Styles. Clearly, WWE thinks the same way as well, being that this match was higher on the card than the WWE title match. The WWE title is like a fucking mid-card title in WWE now. And then Becky Lynch and Charlotte as well. I'd even throw that over fucking AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. But The Miz and Bryan, it sucks that this match had to eventually get cut. That's what I'm thinking it is. I can't see any other reason. You know, I thought it was a fucking botch. I thought maybe it was a mistimed issue again. Nobody filled in The Miz on what was going on. He was supposed to kick out during that roll-up. I don't know. But I didn't like that this match had to get cut because this is such a big storyline. And I hope whatever happened here plays into what we're going to see at Crown Jewel. I really do. Or I really hope. But apparently it was, right now, speculative. It was cut due to time. So Daniel Bryan is not hurt at all. And we will see what's going on with Daniel Bryan. Now, I read reports that WWE wasn't even going to book Daniel Bryan in a world title picture. They didn't see him there yet. That the reason why they wanted to keep Bryan where they had him was because they wanted to see if he could have some sort of longevity without injury. And here we are, he's getting a match against AJ Styles, which is a dream match for many people, you know. And this is a main event for WrestleMania any given year, and we're getting it at Crown Jewel. The Miz, for sure, is going to play a part in this. Absolutely. And I mentioned weeks ago, and I've been mentioning it every week after that, Miz, Bryan, and Styles are going to be in the WWE title picture. You want to put Samoa Joe in there as well? You know, Joe may come out and give me, or give us an excuse as to why he didn't win the WWE title. He wants one more opportunity. He may actually just destroy everybody in hopes that, you know, he does get a championship match. I don't know. The Miz is certainly, with his post-match antics and his frustration, clearly he's going to take his frustration out on Daniel Bryan. We may even see The Miz cost Daniel Bryan the WWE title. We don't know. So it was cut because of time. They certainly weren't going to cut The Undertaker Triple H, and I'm hoping that this is just another layer of storyline here as we go towards Crown Jewel. So we'll see what happens. But that is the reason why it was cut, and it's not because of any botch or Daniel Bryan being injured. Why was Becky Lynch and Charlotte at Super Showdown a DQ ending? There's a reason why Charlotte versus Becky Lynch ended in a DQ at Super Showdown. The ending of the SmackDown Women's title match at Super Showdown didn't turn out the way fans might have preferred to see it go down. After fighting around the ring, Lynch dragged the belt in the ring and then proceeded to hit Flair with the title while she was in the figure 8. Now, this called for a DQ, and needless to say, some fans were quite upset about this finish. I was very vocal about not liking that finish whatsoever. Because WWE doesn't learn. They're pushing Charlotte as a babyface and Becky as a heel. This is a heel-like tactic. And it completely goes against everything that Becky had explained to us. She outwardly came out and said, "I'm better than Charlotte." This does not make you better than Charlotte. This makes you a fucking coward. This shows to me that you can't beat Charlotte and you have to cheat to win. That's why I was pissed. And WWE doesn't listen to the fans. No matter how many times they say they listen to the fans, they don't listen to the fans. The fans have guided them in this storyline. Charlotte is a heel. There's no way the fans are going to boo Becky Lynch. The fans were still cheering Becky Lynch after the fact. After the fact, Becky was still cheered. And Becky's going to get cheered on SmackDown Live. What then? The only thing WWE can do here is have Becky shit on the fans, but I don't think they're that stupid to repeat that mistake. They tried that once, and it failed. It bombed. And it was ridiculous. WWE has painted this picture that Becky is heinous. Meanwhile, everything that's happened to Becky is the farthest thing from heinous. This is a woman standing up for what she believes she deserves. If you're a hardworking individual, and you get shit on for 2 years, and you work your ass off and prove that you're better than everybody, constantly, time and time again, why would the fans not cheer her? The fans are living vicariously through Becky Lynch. They see themselves in Becky Lynch just like we seen ourselves in Daniel Bryan back in 2014. Becky Lynch is the reverse Roman Reigns. Becky is a babyface being portrayed as a heel, and Roman Reigns is a heel being portrayed as a babyface. Meanwhile, the fans are telling you which direction they want both characters to go in, but WWE wants to spin their own narrative. I just don't understand why it has to be Becky Lynch. It's okay to make Charlotte into a heel. Believe me. I'd actually like Charlotte a little bit more if she was a heinous heel. Being that her father was one of the biggest heels, best heels in the fucking industry. Period. But the reason why this match ended in DQ, Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, fans are starting to boo Flair in a big way, as the double turn with Becky Lynch seems to be complete in a way. He also interjected a simple reason why their match ended without really declaring a winner. And he simply said, so this whole thing was just set up to set up the match on Tuesday. So we seen Becky cheat or try to get herself disqualified just to set up this match on Tuesday. If that's the best WWE could come up with for this, then whoever's writing this show needs to go back and reassess what the fuck they're doing, honestly. There had to be a much better way to portray Becky Lynch than what we've seen at Super Showdown. I could come up with something right here that would be better. At least a decisive winner would have been had. Charlotte losing with some screwy finish wouldn't really do anything to Charlotte. All they had to do was have a pinfall attempt of some sort, and maybe Charlotte's foot be under the rope, or the referee is out of a vantage point and something happened like that. But you're blatantly going to go out there and have Becky act like a heel? What good is that going to do? That ending was terrible. It went against everything Becky has stated up until this point. Everything she stated up until this point now is meaningless, in my eyes. So Lynch and Flair could be destined to go on for the rest of the year if this continues. They will definitely be fighting on Tuesday, then SmackDown Live 1000, and then Evolution. How long is this going to go on? But since they're both top names in the WWE Women's Division on SmackDown Live, you know, depending on if they're on the same brand moving forward, you know, depending on when WWE has another draft or a shakeup, if they're on the same brand, they will be fighting and battling for the next few years, easily. And they've been some of the most entertaining parts of SmackDown Live in recent months. But I wish WWE would just give it a rest already. Becky is the face. Charlotte is the heel. Leave it at that. Stop telling me to do something that I don't want to do. You're never going to make friends that way, WWE. You're only going to get revolt. The more you push away, the fans are going to revolt. They're not stupid. Stop trying to make like they're stupid. Let me get this out of the way because a lot of people have mentioned this on my Twitter timeline, and I didn't know where this rumor was coming from. This would be a fucking disgrace if it did happen. It would just be sabotaging storylines just for the almighty dollar. WWE whoring out their product like a fucking $2 hooker in Atlantic City on Pacific Avenue at 4 o'clock in the morning. Rumor killer on The Rock's big money Saudi Arabia deal. The Rock is a huge worldwide name, obviously. WWE wants to get him at WrestleMania. There are rumors and rumblings of him even winning the Royal Rumble and challenging Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Brian Alvarez was asked during Wrestling Observer Live if there's any truth to the rumor that Saudi Arabia offered $20 million for The Rock to wrestle in their kingdom as Universal Champion. He simply replied, "No, I don't believe it." And that's that. Let's look at the rumor a little bit more logically here. While the WWE deal with Saudi Arabia has a ton of money attached to it, and they theoretically could pay that much for The Rock to make an appearance, the idea of him showing up as Universal Champion might be more challenging. If you consider The Rock's busy schedule, he's always needed on different sides of the planet at this point. He always has a new project he's working on and doesn't have much time to donate to the WWE at this point. If The Rock were to arrange a trip to Saudi Arabia for a WWE show, it's highly unlikely that he would be able to make the trip as Universal Champion because WWE would have to book an event for him to win the title. Even if they book him to win the title in Saudi Arabia, they would still need to figure out a way to get the belt off of The Rock once they get back into the States. This was nothing but a rumor, folks. Is it a rumor that could certainly happen? Absolutely. Is it a rumor that I hope stays a rumor? Absolutely. What does that say about every fucking body on the roster? You are shit. You will never be The Rock. And we are going to once again cater to the part-timers because we don't have anybody that is going to secure us a mega million deal anywhere. But whose fault is that? That's WWE's fault for not building new stars. They got a few breakout stars that could potentially be breakout stars, big stars, but WWE refuses to do that. They refuse to do that. This would have been absolutely nothing but sabotage for the current WWE product on Raw. And a Roman Reigns Dwayne Johnson match is the farthest thing from excitement to me. That is absolutely not even in the realm of dream matches at all. And putting the title on The Rock, haven't we seen that already? How well did that go over? You fuck CM Punk, and CM Punk should have main evented WrestleMania. He gave his fucking blood, his body, his sweat, his tears for that title reign. You gotta fucking lose to Dwayne Johnson. And we're gonna go with Dwayne Johnson versus John Cena at WrestleMania. How many people here listening to me thought that it should have been CM Punk main eventing WrestleMania that year? And now you want to do the same thing again. With the rumors of the Rumble and him winning the Rumble and him main eventing WrestleMania against Roman Reigns. And now this rumor of The Rock and WWE whoring out their fucking television for more money just to get the fucking title on The Rock because the Saudi government wants it. Fuck them. Fuck them. There's other ways to make your money. Enough of this bullshit of sabotaging television. It's bad enough. I love The Rock just like everybody else does, but to make him WWE or Universal Champion? That's the biggest fuck you to everybody on that Raw. What about Braun Strowman? How do you think Braun Strowman feels? He's going to give a WWE political answer. Well, without The Rock, we wouldn't be here. You know, when someone like The Rock comes back, we all make more money. What about what's in here? What about what's in here? You want part-timers constantly coming back year after year, big event after big event, taking your fucking spot, your titles, your title opportunities away? What the fuck are you in the business for if you don't want to be world champion? Come on, man. Enough of these part-timers, bro. Enough! I'm letting this slide with The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels because I'm a fucking kid all over again. They're number 1 and number 2 on my list of greatest of all time. I don't give a fuck how old they are. They could be in fucking wheelchairs for all I care. But to have The Rock come back on top of everything else that we're seeing? This is a fuck you to everybody on the roster. Rumor killer right now. Rock ain't coming back for a big money Saudi deal. I hope not. Is it something that I said could happen? Yes, absolutely. But do you want to see it happen? No, I don't want to see it happen at all. At all. Speaking of Monday Night Raw, I found this very interesting article on the current creative of Raw and SmackDown. Now, this is really fucking interesting because I always like to know what's going on behind the scenes, and this was really kind of one of those things that made my ears perk up a little bit, man. I always like to see who's in charge of Raw and SmackDown. So we all know Vince McMahon is, you know, the number one goon on Monday Night Raw and on SmackDown Live. He's the one guy who's going to either say yes or no, and that's all that matters. WWE is catering to one man, and that one man is Vince McMahon. They don't listen to the fans. They cater to one fan and one fan only, Vince McMahon. But Wrestling Observer Newsletter confirmed that Vince McMahon, yes, is still the end-all, be-all decision maker for both WWE main roster shows, but it was also noted and explained who is in charge of the rest of the operation, which might surprise a few people. Now, it was noted that Dave Kapoor, who was Raj Singh on WWE television, brother of the great Khali, is the showrunner of Raw. So just like Khali's run as a WWE superstar, he's continuing his failures as a creative member of Monday Night Raw. That's great news. That's great news. So when you see Monday Night Raw shitting it up every fucking week and just putting you to sleep by 8:15, know that someone who worked with the great Khali is in charge of this show. There you go. They go hand in hand. Now, he is chief of staff, and that title means he has input on the general structure of the show and which writer gets to work with what superstar. So what this is telling me and what Meltzer is saying is that Dave Kapoor needs to be removed from his position. Because the structure of Raw is god-awful. It's the same fucking shit every week. And clearly, the show is bombing week in and week out. The structure of the show and the formula of the show is absolutely fucking god-awful. And everybody within an earshot of this knows that the show needs to be changed. The show needs to be livened up. The show needs a breath of fresh air. Dave Kapoor is not it. Start changing some shit. You might find some better results at the end. Ed Koskey is the lead writer for Raw. This is another one. He's been with the company for 2 decades. Can we get some new, fresh, thriving writers in there? Or are you too fucking high on your horse to let anybody else do the fucking job? Because how do you feel at the end of the night? Oh, I'm the fucking writer. I'm the lead writer of Monday Night Raw. Meanwhile, the show fucking sucks. Everybody sounds like I am a robot, The Shield and Braun Strowman versus Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. That's what they sound like when they cut promos. Of course, Vince McMahon and Triple H also have a huge amount of creative input as well. Vince dictates what he wants, and his writers make it happen. I wish Vince wants what the fans want. Maybe we get a good fucking show. On SmackDown Live, Road Dogg, D-O-double-G, bro, which everybody knows, and Ryan Ward is still there. Ryan Ward has a bachelor's degree in business administration from Cleveland State University and has worked for WWE for 9 years at this point. It was noted that other writers, for the most part, aren't at meetings with Vince McMahon at WWE's headquarters, but they are around him at television. So there you go, a little glimpse as to Raw and SmackDown Live and what happens behind the scenes. And now we know, and we can associate those positions with names, and now we know who needs to be removed from television or removed from their position on Monday Night Raw. Speaking of Vince McMahon, there are some news and notes here about particular superstars. Let's start off with this one. Vince McMahon has reportedly changed his mind on Mojo Rawley. I don't know why Mojo was even given an opportunity to begin with. The guy has nothing. The guy has some level of charisma, but I mean, you look at Mojo Rawley, and where the fuck was he going to go on Monday Night Raw? Nowhere. He doesn't embody. He doesn't look like a WWE main, not even a mid-card talent. He looks like a fucking jobber. The way he comes out, his theme music. Has nothing to do with his work ethic. He's gotten a lot better. He's got some level of charisma, like I said, but Mojo Rawley getting a push on Monday Night Raw. Meanwhile, we got guys like fucking Bobby Roode suffering, and Finn Balor smiling all over the fucking place, and Roman Reigns fucking with his reign of terror, and Braun Strowman being given a heel run that's absolutely fucking worthless. Tag team division that doesn't fucking exist. Yeah, you worry about pushing Mojo Rawley though, right? Fuck out of here. Now, Mojo signed a big money contract, or I guess a 3-year extension. I don't know how much money. Big money? I don't know. Probably not. But a 3-year extension for Mojo Rawley. Now, Mojo looked like he was on his way to being a WWE big-time superstar on Monday Night Raw after splitting from Zack Ryder. Rawley's best friend, Rob Gronkowski, is always going to be on WWE's radar. They want to bring him in. As you guys noticed, he was at WrestleMania a couple years ago, and he was sitting front row. He got involved in that Battle Royal, got involved with Jinder Mahal, and even though, you know, he split from Zack Ryder and is best friends with Gronk, Vince has already soured on Mojo Rawley already. Now, Wrestling Observer newsletter notes that Mojo Rawley's recent loss before Raw in Seattle could tell you a whole lot about his current position in the company. Another surprise result saw Tyler Breeze, pin Mojo Rawley. The action was good and the crowd was really hot for this, and behind Breeze. Another guy who they dropped the ball with, and I don't see why anybody doesn't see anything in Tyler Breeze. The guy has money written all over him. The result tells you about Vince McMahon's feelings on Rawley after his few weeks of push. End quote. Looks like Rawley could be in a bit of a situation when it comes to his push, but he's still young enough to be able to take a loss every now and then. The important part is to keep on trying with his positive attitude, and maybe if he could convince Gronk to come back into the WWE for a little program, that might help him out too. That means he can't get things done on his own if he's got to go to Gronk to try and get some momentum for a new push. He's got nothing. He's got nothing. Mojo is the type of guy that you got to go back to the drawing board with and give him some sort of character. He's got nothing that makes me want to watch him wrestle. Nothing. In fact, the best thing Mojo had for him, as of late, Zack Ryder. And I don't understand why WWE doesn't use a guy like Zack Ryder. There is some place in this company for these types of guys. Why did you break up the Hype Bros? I don't get it. I don't get it. You need tag teams? They were a stable tag team. I'm not saying that they were anything special, but they were a fucking tag team. Why isn't Zack Ryder used more often on television? You got him on Raw. Where the fuck is he? Kurt Hawkins is on a fucking losing streak. Put them back together. Let's find a use for these guys. That could be a good tag team. Ryder and Hawkins. They have a history with one another. Mojo and Ryder. Nobody even remembers that they feuded. So if you put them back together, it'll be like it never even fucking happened. Find a use for them. These are guys you're wasting and pissing money away. Mojo has nothing going on for himself and will have nothing going on for himself. If Mojo's in the main event of Monday Night Raw, then fucking color me blue. It ain't happening. There's nothing about him right now that I want to see anywhere. The guy is a waste. Start finding a spot for him and use him. Tag teams. You need them. Put your heads together and come up with something. WWE, speaking of Vince McMahon, he's also completely given up on No Way Jose. Like if nobody's seen that coming, right? Jose, who used to open pretty much every NXT live event with energy and a great reaction, brought his conga line to Monday Night Raw, and he was immediately linked to being the next Adam Rose. And we all know how things worked out for his Rosebuds. Dave Meltzer noted on this week's Wrestling Observer Radio how No Way Jose lost a match before Raw to Mike Kanellis. This isn't a good sign for Jose, and Meltzer mentioned something a lot of us had already supposed. It was noted that he's done after all. He's losing dark matches at this point and bouts on main event. It was a great idea to have him come up, and he's a great worker who can get the crowd going, but it just didn't seem to transcend to the main roster. So why was this guy brought up? Why was this guy brought up from NXT? If his eventual promotion was nothing but a death sentence, why didn't this guy stay in NXT and rework the gimmick, get rid of that completely, scrap it all together, and come back under a new gimmick? Why? Why couldn't he undergo an Andrade Cien Almas transformation? I don't understand why No Way Jose was brought up. Does anybody have a reason as to why they picked this guy out of everybody on NXT to be called up? Death sentence. The gimmick wasn't going anywhere anyway. You were not going to get fucking conga lines in the main event on Monday Night Raw for the Universal Championship. Gimmicks like this are a waste of everybody's fucking time. Elias is lucky he is liked on Monday Night Raw and liked by management and has a gimmick and a spot on Raw. That was another death sentence. Some people work, some people don't. This was a dead fucking gimmick since day one. Since day one. No Way Jose's theme music was better than No Way Jose. When your theme music is better and more over than you are, your gimmick is going to fail. No Way Jose is a complete dead character. A character change isn't out of the question for No Way Jose, but something needs to happen for him in a big way if they're going to expect any hope of turning things around. WWE doesn't want things to turn around. They killed him. They have a use for you, they have an idea for you, and if the idea don't go through, you're dead. But this guy brought up to Monday Night Raw should have never even happened. It was a waste. You killed the guy's career and ultimately killed the guy's fucking enthusiasm. Yet he's got a smile because he's a WWE employee. Meanwhile, in here, he's fucking depressed. I got this shitty fucking gimmick. I'm a WWE superstar with no direction. A guy like that could find his way to the independent scene, being that he's a WWE superstar, and rake in the money. Guy's got charisma. Guy's got a great look. I'm sure the guy can wrestle. Otherwise, they wouldn't have signed him. Either get rid of him, cut the fucking dead weight, or put this guy back in NXT where he belongs. Same thing with Apollo Crews. Same thing with Tyler Breeze. The Revival. You have some talent exchange here. Fucking ridiculous. Moving on here, man. Speaking of Mike Kanellis, I got news on Mike Kanellis, like if anybody fucking cares. WWE, supposedly was going to put Mike Kanellis in NXT. And that was the right move for him. Putting him on, putting the Power of Love on SmackDown Live was another fucking death sentence for Mike Kanellis. Who the fuck knew who Mike Kanellis was on SmackDown Live? You know? So Mike and Maria Kanellis haven't seen much WWE television in a very long time because Maria Kanellis had to be taken off TV because she became pregnant. Of course, she's gotten back into terrific shape. If you go to her Instagram, she's posting pictures of her ass all over the fucking place. So if you like admiring a nice ass, I assume you should go to, or I suppose you should go to Maria Kanellis' Instagram. Neither had spent any time in NXT as they just debuted at Money in the Bank last year. It was noted on PW Insider Elite Audio that Mike Kanellis got to skip the Performance Center and NXT, but it had little to do with him. In fact, it had pretty much everything to do with his wife and what her, situation was bringing to the table. Since Maria Kanellis was such a veteran and ready for the main roster already, the idea was to bring him to the main roster. Of course, this has somewhat been proven as a fucking mistake, and the Power of Love was fucking dead. It was killed. It was canceled. But since Maria gave birth and Mike really cleaned himself up, looks fantastic, in terrific shape, both are ready to get back to work. Only time will tell if WWE will repackage the two or what their plan is to implement for Maria onto television. But apparently, the reason they got to skip NXT was because of Maria Kanellis and not Mike. Put them in NXT. This is a situation where they debuted on the main roster and no one fucking cares. No one remembers. Debut them in NXT. Maria would be great in NXT. Mike Kanellis would get over in NXT. Don't know why they debuted. They didn't even debut on SmackDown Live. They debuted in a fucking .com exclusive. They weren't even on live television. I don't understand who thought this was a good idea and implemented this idea. This was like, how could we kill Mike Kanellis? Boom. They did it. They had nothing planned for him. Nobody knew who Mike Kanellis was. Putting him in front of a WWE crowd who don't know who the fuck he is was an absolute mistake. Put him in. This guy needed 1 to 2 years. He's young enough, 1 to 2 years in NXT, and he would have been golden. Golden! He would have been over. People would have known who he was. We would have got to see him wrestle. Apparently, he's a great wrestler. I can't fucking tell you how great of a wrestler he is because I barely see him fucking wrestle. I know what Maria could do. Get them in NXT. You're going to be calling people up anyway. You could fucking slide Mike Kanellis right in there to take that spot. Same thing with No Way Jose. Same thing with Tyler Breeze. Come on now, man. One thing I hate seeing is talent wasted. It's like WWE just takes, and then they store them on the shelf. Sometimes they get used, sometimes they don't. And when they don't, then their contracts expire and you wasted fucking 5 years of your life being a WWE superstar. What did you fucking do? Oh, the coffee was good. Oh, the catering was good. Titus is great. He's got a marinara sauce to die for. It's like your grandma's old school recipe. Fuck out of here, man. If that's what you are going to tell your friends, yeah, Titus's sauce was delicious. How many titles did you win? None. But he had a damn good fucking spaghetti. Fuck out of here, man. Absolutely ridiculous. How long am I in here? I'm over a fucking hour. I'm getting the fuck out of here, man. One more news story. Talk about the Survivor Series, being that it's in the fucking title of the video. WWE has major changes coming to the Survivor Series. I don't know why we need to start changing Survivor Series. WWE had a nice consistent plan for Survivor Series. Apparently, they're doing something different this year. Because of their own fucking laziness. And because they're whoring themselves out to every fucking international market just for a quick, easy buck. I'm not saying don't make your money, but when it's compromising a major pay-per-view and quality of television, that's where I have an issue. Survivor Series plans are set to go in a different direction with Raw and SmackDown. Now, last year's build was, it wasn't really anything. It was 3 weeks. They got this brand split and this competitive nature between both brands, which is only seen 3 weeks out of the year, when it should be a constant year-long thing. Last year's build was an invasion of each brand leading up to the event. Now, it's tough to buy into that when it happens because it's Survivor Series. That's something that should have been happening well before Survivor Series, leading to an eventual match at Survivor Series. Now, if the WWE go ahead with similar thoughts for November 18th, Survivor Series in Los Angeles, current matches would see Becky Lynch face off against Ronda Rousey. I'm talking about Raw vs. SmackDown, which I think is a great way to build Survivor Series. We'd see Becky Lynch right now. Becky Lynch versus Ronda. Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. But according to WrestleVotes, I want to make sure they get out there because I know WrestleVotes complains to guys like Satin and these other shills. And Mike Johnson, they even called out on social media. Well, we reported this a couple days ago. Meanwhile, you don't want to correctly cite our sources. So I want to give them the credit here. WrestleVotes on Twitter. That Raw against SmackDown plan is set to be either shelved or scaled back to help include a Red brand specific 5-on-5 match. Pretty much the entire roster. So Monday Night Raw will be represented in one fucking match. According to WrestleVotes, one of the big elimination bouts is set to be comprised of two teams built by Raw General Manager Kurt Angle, who's currently on vacation, and acting GM Baron Corbin. They say, hearing that Survivor Series won't be focused too much, if at all, on Raw vs. SmackDown this year, good chance at a Team Corbin vs. Team Angle matchup for Raw control. Yawn, bar, snore, snooze, and any other fucking word that goes along with sleep. It's probably to correctly assume that if this should happen, the leader of the winning team will gain control of Monday Night Raw. In my eyes, the loser is the real winner here. Because who really wants to be in control of a terrible fucking program? So if I'm the loser on this night, if this goes through and I'm the loser on this night, I'm going to deem myself the winner. Because Monday Night Raw is that fucking terrible. Now, if this should happen, the leader or the leader of Raw will obviously be the winner of this match. Get control on Monday night. It's just like in 2003 where Eric Bischoff's team defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin's team. It'll certainly feel a lot fresher 15 years later, though, and while there may still be Raw vs. SmackDown matches in other areas of the card, it seems like this will be the main Raw match. It does get complicated, though, in a sense that Survivor Series this year broadcasts just 2 weeks after WWE Crown Jewel. Again, these international shows, they're just bleeding into regular pay-per-views that we see every year, but it's okay. It's okay. Continue to whore yourself out into the Saudi government. Which, by the way, they moved from a 60,000-seat venue to now a 25,000-seat venue in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Is that where it's taking place, from Jeddah? I don't know. Wherever. Saudi Arabia. It could mean that there are some rushed storylines and matches created because of the overload of events coming up. But trust the creative team to strike the right balance as we head into Super Showdown, Crown Jewel, Survivor Series, this big block of pay-per-views that we got coming up. Listen, if WWE, all I'm going to say is this. I like the Raw versus SmackDown deal. It's got to be built up throughout the year, little sequences throughout the year to make it really special. Look at what War Games is doing. Look at how far in advance War Games has been building up. It's been building up and you don't even realize it. And then when you see it, you're going to connect the dots and you're going to see, oh my God, this has been going on for 3 months now. Watch that War Games match and how everything is just going to come into play and line up perfectly leading to that match with everybody involved. Here we are, WWE. They can't even book a week of fucking television correctly. You want Survivor Series to be a decent show with little to no work? Champion versus champion. I mean, I don't know who don't want to watch the New Day go up against fucking Ziggler and McIntyre. I think that'd be a great match. Or Becky versus Ronda. Or Roman Reigns versus... We could possibly get Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan this year. I don't want it because social media would be nothing but a fucking cesspool of garbage. Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. You know? We could get Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. It's pretty much presenting itself as, okay, we could do this. We can still present Raw versus SmackDown and give ourselves an easy out and just have a great night of wrestling. No, but they don't want to do that, though. It's too much work. Now, they'd rather have control over Monday Night Raw, as if anybody fucking cares. I don't want Corbin there. I don't want Angle there. I don't want Stephanie there. Putting more effort on authority figures than you do the fucking talent. Who gives a shit who's running Monday Night Raw? Clearly the fucking millions and millions and millions of people running away from the show every fucking week. They don't care. So why the fuck should I? Survivor Series is about to change. Hopefully not in this direction. I couldn't give a single fuck about a Team Angle versus Team Corbin. Who's going to be on Team Corbin? It's going to be the Pac and the AOP, right? Tell you right now, it's going to be the Pac and AOP. Angle's going to have the Shield. And they're probably going to get 2 other guys. Who's a friend of the Shield? Finn Balor, right? And Angle himself might even fucking wrestle. I don't know. Ridiculous. Absolutely. That's so fucking boring. So goddamn fucking boring. Instead of giving me a 5-on-5 SmackDown vs. Raw match, this is the fucking shit that they did. This is their creative genius. This is what goes on in fucking Stamford, Connecticut. My God. Anyway, man, I'm getting out of here. Thank you all so very much for yet another edition of Off the Script. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit that thumbs up. 2,000 thumbs up is the goal here. Thank you so very much for everything, man. Please check out my sponsors. Please check out all the other videos that you might have missed this week. And I will be back on Monday with part 3 right here to round out the news and rumors this weekend on Off the Script. I'm JD. Enjoy your Sundays, man, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow afternoon, right before Monday Night Raw. I'll talk to you later.